All right. Well, I'm so glad that all of you were able to stay on for the speed networking. We are powering through to our live Q&A because the question and answer thing was always um a fixture of the Contactus Ealing magazines, and we're celebrating 10 years in business this year. So I just wanted to do a live, thank you, Celia. We wanted to do a live Q&A just to bring it to life, bring the live Q&A to life. And I was talking to Greg the other day, and I said, gosh, he's got so much liveliness in him. I'd love to bring that to the Eating Business Expo and talk, just chat with him here about baking. Look at Greg. Does he look like a baker? If I were a baker,
I
there
trained as a baker I did an apprenticeship in baking when I was 16, and I've never worked. I trained as a pastry chef after that, but I never really worked very long. I went into hotel management. I did lots of other things, but baking, funny enough. But it's a skill like riding a bike. Once you have it, you never forget it.
Well, this is the
So
man
yeah.
behind Britain Loves Baking. And we're all into our post post pandemic. We're still trying to come out from the pandemic, and baking was something that saved a lot of us. How many times did we see those pictures of banana bread? How many times did we see people talking about teaching that, just telling the children, here, there's a cake mix, go and make your cake mix. But Greg has this mission, and at Britain Loves Baking, it's almost like you think it should be on TV, don't you? The name of it. I mean, Greg, tell us about this mission that you're on. Why do you think children should be baking?
Yeah, I mean, baking, I mean, we're on a mission to teach every kid in every country that we operate in that we're to arm them with the skills to bake. Baking is not just a kind of skill that is great to have, because obviously we need to know where what food's about and where it comes from. And it's great because, when we get packed off to university, it would be good to have some sort of skills when it comes to food. Because 9 times out of 10, when the kids do leave home and they go to university, it's like, Mom, how do I do this? Dad, how do I do this? Or somebody got a recipe for this. So if you have those skills, it's quite good. But it also teaches kids not just the life skills, but lots of other softer skills like empathy and sharing and numeracy, maths, science. It's got it all rolled into one. So we kind of started this mission at the beginning of COVID after we saw how it was just how communities were being torn apart and how people were feeling. And part of our mission as well is to support those who suffer with their mental health. And baking has amazing properties and provides people amazing properties when it comes to people's mental health. And that's something we feel we all, every business leader, should be looking out for people, whether it's their people in their organization or their customers. Everybody's mental health has deteriorated considerably. 1 in 5 people, and they say that's probably going to go down to 1 in 4, suffer from mental health issues. And COVID really brought that to a kind of to the forefront of us as a nation. So, and kids as well. What do I do with my children if they didn't know how to bake? They were just kind of like they were all learning to bake. And it's also about making baking affordable. Unfortunately, I will say this, it has become slightly elitist, and it's not due to the TV programs. There are a lot of television programs out there, ones that, Bake Off and various other ones that we see every day. And I think there's something like 19 hours of baking programs a week you can watch on TV, something crazy like that. But it is quite expensive. So we wanted to create a brand specifically for kids, and that's aimed at families who have a lower income, to help them bake. And if not, we will provide those who really can't afford it with the ingredients to bake for free through various food charities. Sorry, excuse me, various food charities and organizations that can better help to serve them through baking clubs and whatever else we want to set up. And it's pretty much in our gift to do whatever we want, really.
And being based in Park Royal, how
Yeah.
does that help? How does that help you achieve your dream? I mean, we always think
I,
of
you
Park
know,
Royal as Go ahead. As a
Oh, yeah, well, I won't tell you what some people around here think of Park Royal. I've known Park Royal. I've had a checkered history of Park Royal because my background is actually food product development. So I probably worked with every company around here, from Bakkavor to Tesco's to Noon Foods when they were here, Kerry, you name it, Diageo. I spent years at 7HQ. So I know it quite well, as a bit of as much as a ghost town right now. But I have a love of Park Royal because it really is the hub of British food as far as I'm concerned. But it's deteriorated over the years. And I think I really, for us as a business, I want to bring it home. And I feel something that we want to champion is bringing it home by, and that will be through setting up our own incubator of new food ideas, which we will issue grants for as our business grows. So yeah, it's definitely, it's a great place to be, and it's a great place. There's so many independent food companies around here. I mean, even the building that we're in, there's like 90 companies, and I just walk around and I meet every cake decorator. I wish I'd learned cake decorating, but I have a confession to make. I was bullied by the girls at cake making class because I was the only boy, and they bullied me every day. It was terrible. I'm not looking for sympathy here, but yeah, boys can decorate cakes. Well, they should be allowed to.
You showed them, didn't you?
What?
You
Yeah,
showed
well, actually,
them.
yeah, it's funny because one of them messaged me actually on LinkedIn the other day and went, "Oh my God," she's going, 30 years ago you were in my class, and I went, "Yep." And 30 years ago, here I am today. So yeah. But yeah, so it's good. It's good. Park Royal is a great place to be, and you know, we need to be driving this whole food culture. It's, you know, baking is on the rise. It's never going away. The way people eat and shop has completely changed, and that's not going to change ever again. You know, we have learned new behaviors, and latest consumer research and insight says exactly the same thing. You know, people are being driven to more loyal, you know, are becoming more and more loyal to local brands. They want to eat local. It's like they want to shop local. So, you know, and I think, you know, we've got this great opportunity in Ealing, and the diversity of food is amazing, absolutely amazing.
But you're talking about Ealing, but you're international because
Yeah.
you have arms in Australia and America. What is
Yes.
so
Well,
how are you managing all of that from Ealing?
so Ealing will always be the hub. So we will be the hub. So Australia is run by my younger brothers. They're identical twins, and they run our family, the business that we've had there for 10 years. Yeah, so all marketing, expertise, product development, everything will be done from here. And then as our business grows, we don't have an operation in Ireland, but we service Ireland through its own dedicated website. And the US, we wholesale to the US and Canada. So everything gets done. That anything that's going shipping to the US and Canada gets done from here, but anything that we ship from Asia will be shipped from Australia, because obviously that it's nearer to them. And Europe, obviously, this will be where we would ship, or we would obviously have to open an operation in Europe, as we have now Brexited. So we need to think of an operation around that, how we service our European friends and families. So yeah, so Ireland is our next port of call for an operation, because it's where me and my brothers are from originally. Yeah, so we want to have an operation there, and that will probably service the rest of Europe. But yeah, everything, marketing, all the expertise comes from London. Comes from right here in NW10, and it gets shifted around the world.
Well, I mean, it's interesting that it's a family business that's gone international, but you're still thinking local. And you
Yeah,
know, that's what I really like, you know, listening to you talking about your business. And you've got, when you say how many businesses in that building, 90 businesses in that
yeah,
building, and
about 90 food businesses.
90
Um,
food businesses.
and
What are they not on social media? How do we find out about these businesses?
And they're all in the Alpha Beta Center. It's just on Minerva Road. I think even on Minerva Road, if you add it up, I think there's like well over, yeah, I think it's well over 100 food businesses, maybe more, and people who sell, you know, whether it's wholesale, retail, whatever. Our street is just like, our supply chain is, when people say we always say it's no more than 3 miles away. My supply chain is no more than 300 meters away, because I literally buy everything. All the wholesalers, all the importers, they're all on my street. So I don't go anywhere else. Why wouldn't I want to provide and keep keep the local economy growing. It's what we do. My brothers do it in Australia. Literally, they know every single farmer. They know every single farmer, what they sell, what they grow. They know, when it comes out of the ground. They know every business that they work with is literally local, and that's divided up between every 10 miles where we have another operation, another bar or restaurant. They'll buy from those people locally, because it's just about, you're part of the fabric of the local community, and that's really important. Like, that's super important. And people really, and I think businesses, as they grow, tend to forget that. And as they get bigger and bigger, but we always say when we're wherever we operate, we'll operate locally. I don't make the decisions that go on in Australia, and I don't expect my brothers to come to me and ask me for those decisions. They make them locally because it affects their local community. So they support mental health issues. The equivalent to the Mental Health Foundation in Australia. Plus, they teach kids to bake, but they do it in schools. So we have a school catering business in Australia. So we provide after school, free of charge to the school. We provide after school baking clubs. And that's how we teach the kids in Australia to do it. We don't do it here because we don't provide a catering service. But again, as I keep saying, we're happy to support a local school that wants to run a baking club. We're happy to give them the ingredients, not a problem.
Well, we need to get in touch with schools in Park Royal. I mean,
Yeah.
Joanna is on this call. She does a lot of walking, talking and exploring tours in Park Royal. So we'll get her onto that. One of your other missions is to make your business self-sustainable. Now, I don't understand how this is going to work. Can you explain how you make your business so you can just back out from the business and it runs itself? Is that what you mean by self-sustainable?
I'd like to think so. As I get slightly older, I'd like to kind of step away at some point. Self-sustainable, how we mean in the sense of we believe in sharing our revenue. So our new kids brand, well, it's not new actually. We've had it all the time, but it'll be a separate standalone business. Our kind of holding company will become an incubator here in Park Royal. So basically, all our businesses that sit around it will sit in here in the holding company, and they are, by default, our companies are owned. We gift our staff one of our businesses every time, just simply because it's the way we are. We've done it in Australia, and it's always a complementary business to one that we already have. So it's owned 50% by the staff. The founders of Kids Love Baking will be local. So they will be appointed by me, and they will run the business with the staff, and the staff will own 50% of that company. The customers will get revenue, so we will share our revenue with our customers. So because one of the biggest things when you're running a baking ingredients company or any kind of recipe company like HelloFresh or anything, the biggest cost is delivery. So if we can negate delivery, and that was just literally going back to old school modeling of looking at Avon ladies or Tupperware parties and Summers parties, it was like, fine, you get a load of people, they come, they order their products online, they come and they collect it from you, and they share the revenue. So why can't we do the same? So we're going to build an app that will allow people to search the country, look for local, and that could be a church, it could be a school, it could be a youth club, anybody who wants revenue. So anybody who wants to share revenue or wants to do some goods, it's got to be something to do with the local community. It's not, it's not going to be like kind of like local stores and stuff like that, or supermarkets. We're not going to work with people like that. We're going to work with just local people. And they will get a share of our revenue. So that builds a sustainable revenue model in the communities and helps mom and dads, especially on lower incomes. And we encourage people on lower incomes to join the kind of mission and get involved. The company also will provide 5% of its revenue will go to food charity. So it'll have an ingredients fund set up so they can draw down on that whenever they want, and they can use our supply chain so they get the best value. Or it's to support those children who can't afford to bake. So we will gift them baking boxes, and that will come out of that fund. And then we have 10% of our revenue will be generated, and I mean revenue, not profits. Revenue will go into a fund which we're calling Freshly Baked Ideas, and that can be anybody in throughout Ealing and the borough can come to us and pitch us an idea and want to start a baking business or a food business. preferably something we know something about. And we will incubate them here. We've got 2,500 square feet, so it's a massive kind of production unit. So we'll incubate them within our business so they get access to the skills, technology, infrastructure that we've already built, customers, clients. So actually their startup, instead of taking months, 6 to 8 months, it'll be a matter of weeks. We estimate about 6 weeks you can have your business up and running. We'll take a small piece of equity in that business, but again, they will become shareholders in the mothership company, and the staff will own a bit of their business. So it is, when I say sustainable, it's truly sustainable, that eventually it becomes its own living, breathing machine, and it just literally creates work and it creates jobs for local people, and that's the aim of it. And that model would be replicated we're hoping to replicate it in Australia, replicate it in Ireland, and replicate it wherever else we grow in over the coming years.
Ask a question.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, yes, go ahead, Ron.
Hi, Greg. Fascinating stuff. Congratulations. It sounds like a fantastic business model. The question I wanted to ask you is, I've got a very good friend of mine, Italian chap, who has been investigating the idea of running a catering type business. Originally porchetta, like he's traditionally Italian. His English is fantastic. He's moved over here to the UK. His family have been here for quite a long time, but he's moved from Italy and he's looking for new business opportunities. And at the moment, he's been looking at finding companies that make porchetta that he could then sell at market food stalls with his daughter. Mm-hmm. So that didn't really happen. Now he's found a company that actually produces arancinis. You familiar with arancinis?
Yeah, I love them.
And and he's saying there's a big market for it, traditional Italian, and he's found a supplier that he's negotiating with at the moment because he wants to run an arancini type market food business with him and his daughter. Can you help in any way? This incubator that you've got going on, is there a chance that we could maybe come down and meet someone or?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Come. I mean, if he wants to go manufacture himself, sure, we can definitely. We have space, so we're not short of space here. That's one thing we do have, is quite a lot of space. Okay. And remember, we tend to run our businesses 24 hours a day because the asset is quite expensive. Right. So we tend to try and utilize our asset as much as possible. Having a space like this empty 24 hours, for 12 hours a day is just, when it could be making money, doesn't seem good business sense to me. Okay. So happy to have a chat. And, I know a lot about manufacturing, and I know people around here who do manufacturing for other people, especially in Bakkavor. They do manufacturing. I know everybody in Bakkavor probably. Right. And they got a private label business. We also have a private label business. Happy to have a conversation.
Great. That's really nice of you, because I know I could obviously tell you're very, very busy, building your own.
No, I work. I think Collie would tell you that I sleep 4 hours a day, believe it or not.
Okay. My gosh.
I don't require any more sleep than 4 hours a day. Plus, I have a teaching job as well.
I'll private message you or send you a link on LinkedIn. Thanks for that.
No problem.
All right. I'm just looking in the chat. Did anybody leave any questions in the chat? Yes, Joanna.
Barbara, I feel your pain.
All right. Any other food related? Oh, Joanna, talk to us about your Park Royal connection.
I just wanted to ask Greg, where exactly in Park Royal is your business?
Minerva Road.
Sorry?
Minerva Road.
Oh, Minerva Road. Oh, fantastic. So one of
food heaven.
Luxurious cars named road.
Yeah, luxury cars and food.
Yes, but fantastic. So is it possible to kind of link with you?
Yeah, sure. Please do. Definitely.
Yeah. I always look for funding to provide walks for free to the participants.
Oh God, yeah. We're happy for them to swing by. I mean, we have lots of people swinging by. It's kind of, we're used to it by now. Reach out to me. I think I put my details in LinkedIn. And just reach out to me and I'll share my phone number.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, I'm just hearing about how you've taken this business. You haven't been in business that long, have you, Greg? When did you start up?
Coming up to 2 years. Yeah,
2 years.
actually the 5th of June, my birthday. The day after my birthday is when we started, and the customer had to tell me that because I couldn't remember my own date that we launched the company. And it was a customer who bought the very first product from us. She reminds me quite often that it's like, you've got a birthday coming up. She reminded me of our first birthday because I was so kind of in that first year of madness that it was, and in the midst of hard lockdown, that it was just craziness trying to, and we'd moved as well. So we moved in Park Royal 3 times in 1 year. Now we're not moving.
You're staying there. You're staying right there. But, just listening to you talking about what you've achieved in 2 years. I mean, sometimes we hear businesses talking about, ooh, I'm on my 2nd million and I've, whatever.
It's not about money.
But you are still, still growing and expanding. So
yeah.
It's good to talk to you at this point to find before you get too far out of reach for us, and
I'll never be out of reach. I mean, I've always been one of these people that I know where I came from. So, I've never gotten so big in my own boots that I kind of don't know where I came from. I teach at a university in the US, but I teach here at their campus in the UK. And even my students like swing by. They're like, you're the only professor I know that we can just swing by.
So is this a professor? Are you a professor of baking?
No, I'm a professor of entrepreneurship and innovation at the University of North Carolina and Duke. So I teach at 2 universities, but I teach on their camp. They have a campus here in the UK. So I teach a course here in the UK once a year, which is great. So I only have to do 12 days a year, which is good. But as I always say to my students, I'm like, yeah, just swing by. And they're like, are you for real? It's like, it's like we don't just swing by. And I'm like, yeah. It's like I say to my bank manager, it's like, yeah, I can't just swing by and just grab a baking box while you're here. You keep the kids happy. And he's like, and because I don't always have time to go and see him, or, I don't always have time to leave Park Royal, actually, that most people do. And, they want to get out of the office as well, or they want to get out of home. Most people are like, when I say, do you want to come by? They're like, oh my God, can I come by? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Because people want to go out and visit. I miss seeing other business people. I really do. It's been crazy. Zoom is great, but I'm so looking forward to tomorrow.
Yes, I'm glad you'll be there. Well, we have a Twitter break, a break schedule now because we started at 10 o'clock this morning. I think some people might need to do things beyond the computer screen. But I want to say thank you so much, Greg, for coming on. And this is the kind of inspiration we
thanks,
need.
Greg.
Not the kind of inspiration that's out of reach, but the kind of inspiration that's just right here with us. And really appreciate you sharing your ideas and your missions, and we wish you the best of luck with the next level.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to meeting you all hopefully tomorrow as well.
Definitely. So I think
I'm around. If you need, just message me if anybody wants to speak. I'm around for the rest of the day anyway. I'm going to be here.
Oh, good. All right. And we can all link up. That's everybody. Yeah. Once again, remember, save the chat, because when the call is over, I don't want 9 million people asking me to send them the chat. Actually, it's okay. I don't mind. But everybody save the chat. And what we do now is we take a break from the screen. But if you're staying on the screen, do have a look at the online stands. And one of the ways to look at the online stands is, well, the only way is to go to the EalingBizExpo website and click through to the Expo 2022 page and look at the online stands there. The online stands are really videos of the exhibitors talking to you about, like, if they were standing in front of you. Another way to look at it, if you can't get through on the website, is to look on the Contactus Ealing YouTube channel. Subscribe, like and subscribe. I'm on 53 subscribers. It's I've passed 50. This is, I'm plain sailing now. So once you're there, you can look at the 2022 playlist and you'll see a couple of videos in there. Well, not a couple. We have a few exhibitors. We have about 25 online exhibitors, and tomorrow some of them come back in person, and we have nearly 40 stands to look at tomorrow to meet. And remember, these are the people who put the money into the expo to keep it going. And I remember the first time I ever understood the concept of sponsorship, and I'm talking into the break time. The first time I ever understood the concept of sponsorship, I was at a cricket game, and it was cable and wireless in Grenada. And they said to us, if you ever wanted to buy a phone, this was the days before mobile phones, and they said, if you ever wanted to buy a phone, buy a cable and wireless phone, because they sponsor this cricket series. And I thought, I'm not going to buy a cable and wireless phone. But now that I understand a little bit more about sponsorship, the people, when you want to support the businesses that support you. So that's my soapbox about businesses that support other businesses. So thanks again, Greg. Thanks again, everyone, for joining in. We'll be back here at 12:30, and we have Laurie is going to help us to create something, because it's nice to have some to use a different part of your brain. We've been talking, we've been listening, we've been remembering, and now we're going to do something with our hands to try and round out our experience of Ealing Business Expo. So I'll see you back here in about, help me with the maths, about 5 minutes. All right. See you all then. Feel free to chat in the chat in the meantime.